This is James Kalm, the guy on the bike, welcoming you all back for another half-assed production. We're going to run in here at the Brooklyn Museum, try to sneak some pictures of Andy Warhol of the last decade. Now here in the foyer, they've got a silkscreen wallpaper that's Andy Warhol's self-portrait. It's kind of an interesting diptych. This is Andy, and there's got to be maybe 3 or 4 overlaid portraits there. Well, here are some of his piss paintings. Urine on copper painted canvases. And I think part of the interesting thing about these paintings is that although Andy was a silkscreen artist and used photography, he was constantly trying to push the realm of abstraction. A series of paintings are called Shadows. And I actually met Andy Warhol at an exhibition of the shadow paintings, I believe it was 1979. As a matter of fact, I still have a copy of Interview magazine that Andy signed for me with Truman Capote on the cover. This is White Mona Lisa. Here's a classic. This is Marilyn 4, 1978. Using the matte surface against the shiny to get the distinction between the image and the ground. Well, this is kind of an interesting gallery. These are a series of abstract paintings from 1983. This might be some of his most maybe experimental, and they would fit right in with the conceptual kind of painting that a lot of people are doing these days. Starting out with the abstraction, photographing it, and then printing it. And I think maybe one of Andy's greatest talents was his great sense of color. This might look like a Jackson Pollock or something, but it's just repeated silkscreen prints. Well, they've got a great video here of Andy with Larry Rivers. I worked for Larry back in the early 80s. He was quite a guy. It's a large piece, and this is in collaboration with Jean-Michel Basquiat. It's titled Sin More, 1985. Basquiat was maybe one of the main guys that Andy was collaborating with at the end of his life, and Jean-Michel ended up dying of a drug overdose about 6 or 8 months after Andy passed away. Now we're in the upstairs gallery. Gonna get a chance to see some of the larger Warhols. This is one of his Rorschach paintings from 1984. Oh, and this is The Origin of Cotton, which is a 3-artist collaboration with Andy Warhol, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Francisco Clemente. This is Untitled Heart Attack, 1984. In collaboration with Jean-Michel Basquiat. Oh, this This might be one of the better collaborative pieces I've seen. These galleries are going to get a chance to see some of the major pieces that Andy did in the last decade. This is another collaborative piece with Jean-Michel Basquiat. This is titled, untitled, 50 Dentures. Black and white ads. Well, now we've gone a full circle because this is basically the kind of work that Warhol started out at the very beginning of his fine art career. Except in these pieces, like this one, he's got a Christ from the Last Supper image imposed on there. This is Double Weightlifter, 1985-86. And I guess you could see that Andy wanted to get serious again because he's letting his drips come through. This is some nice little pieces. Repent and sin no more. The Mark of the Beast. These are all silkscreen prints. Heaven and hell are just one breath away. Oh, this is a monster. These are Andy's last paintings. This is the Last Supper. So it's got $6.99 price tags. Honda motorcycles. And Jesus and the Disciples. This is nice. You get a chance to see some of the kind of degradation of the prints. Some of the weird flaws in the process. This is a great selection here. We've got a bunch of covers for Interview magazine. Oh, that's the one I have. Truman Capote. Self-portrait 1986, and he died in 87. This is nice. We've got a kind of a double overlaid portrait here. This is a detail of the Last Supper. Christ 112 times. Oh, and here is one of the Last Suppers. I understand he did over 100 versions of this painting. The wall text says that he was commissioned to paint these Last Supper images for a gallery that is opening across the street from the actual chapel where these appeared in Milan. Other people say that he'd had a premonition that he was not long for this world. So this is James Kalm reporting on Andy Warhol's paintings from the last decade here at the Brooklyn Museum. Thanks, Kate.